Good morning, boys and girls. All right, today I am going to be doing your division lesson number 4 for Monday, April 20th. And then right after that, I will be reading How the Bat Got Wings and the questions that go along with it. Now, today's division lesson is all about dividing by 0 and 1. And they're very similar to the multiplication rules of multiplying by 0 and 1. And I'm going to show you how. So, for example, I'm going to start off with the first rule of 1. And the first rule of 1, maybe I'll go this way. First rule of 1 is any number divided by 1 equals that number. The same number that you wrote right here, it's going to equal the same thing over here when you divide by 1. So I've got Lily right over here, and Lily, she's going to choose any number to put right over here for my example. Lily, will you choose any number between 2 and 10?
8.
8. Let's do it. You know what? I'm going to write it in a different color. Let's get this green. And we're going to write the number 8 in our equation here. And we're going to divide it by 1. And that is going to equal what, Lil?
8.
8. Very good. Any number divided by 1 equals 8. Just like any number times 1 equals that number, right? So Lily chose 8. We're going to just put 8 right in there. 8 times 1 equals 8. That is the first rule of dividing by 1. Yep, equals 8. Now, it's like saying you have one bowl. So I have a little tiny bowl here. And Lily got a lot of candy for Easter this year. So one of them happens to be her favorite. It's these Cadbury eggs. I love these, right?
So yummy.
So if we're talking about 8 dividing it by 1, that means it's like the same as I have one bowl with how many eggs inside, do you think? What do you think, Lily?
I'm thinking 9 this time.
Well, actually, we're doing this problem, so it would be
8.
8, exactly. So I'm going to put 8 of these inside of the bowl. 3, 5, 7, 8. Woo! Runaway egg. So I've got all 8 eggs inside of here, guys. All 8 eggs inside. And if I only divide it by one person, well, there's 2 of us, but I'm only dividing it by 1. That means Lily gets all the eggs, right? So she is just one person. She has all 8 eggs. There's nobody to divide it by, right? No one to split this up with. She gets all 8 eggs. Thanks, Lil. Do you mind putting that back for me? Okay? That's what that problem means. Now, something you should be aware of, boys and girls, is that anytime we divide, we must always put the large number first. So as you can see here, the 8 is the larger number, and it goes right before the 1. You will never, ever, ever see 1 divided by 8. Never. Okay? So it's like saying I have only 1 egg and 8 people to split it up with. Now, you could do that. It's going to be really small, but it's not going to be a whole number. So that's why this cannot happen. It would not give you an actual number, okay, and not an actual whole number. So it's a little bit different from 8 times 1, because with 8 times 1, we can write it either way, right? We can write it 8 times 1 or 1 times 8, and it would be the same thing. It would be always equal 8, but not with division. It's a little bit different, okay? Now, the other rule when we divide by 1 is any number divided by itself will always equal 1. So that means any number that you put right here is always going to equal 1. So let's give it a try. I'm just going to choose the number 3. Okay? I'm going to put a 3 right in here. And when I divide it by itself, that means I'm going to divide it by 3. It will always equal 1. Now you can do any number you want. You can do 6 divided by 6, 10 divided by 10, 1,000 divided by 1,000, 1 million divided by 1 million. It doesn't really matter what you put here. It will always equal 1. It is like saying this, boys and girls. Lily, could you get me those Cadbury eggs, please?
Okay.
It's like saying I have 3 eggs. I've got my Cadbury eggs. It's like saying I have 3 of these. And I'm going to split this up between 3 people. 1 for Ryan, 1 for me, 1 for Lily. How much do we each have? You're right, we only have 1 egg each. So that's what that that's what that equation means, okay? Let's do some practice now. So I'm going to erase my board, and I'm going to do some practice with you. Let's see, let's do 2 of them. We're going to do blank divided by 1 equals blank, and blank divided by, oops, let's do like some space here. Blank divided by blank equals 1. You guessed it, right? You guessed it. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to use the number, let's do 7 here, 7 here. 7 divided by 1 equals, according to our rule, any number divided by 1 equals that number, right? So 7. Any number divided by itself will always equal 1. That means 7 divided by 7. You got it right. All these empty spots here, you're just going to put in the same number. Nice job. Let's try a different one. Let's go with, I know, 10. 10 divided by 1 is 10. Very good. 10 divided by 10 equals 1. Very nice. We'll do one more. Let's go, do one number less. Let's do 9. 9 divided by 1 equals, and 9 divided by what number is going to equal 1? I'll give you a minute. Well, less than that, but I hope you got it. And I probably know you did because you said 9 divided by 1 equals 9. And 9 divided by 9 equals 1. Nice job, you guys. I told you it was easy. All right. Finally, the rule of 0 is so similar to the rule of 0 when we multiply. Now, when we divide, we have it's 0 divided by any number will always equal, you guessed it, always equals 0. Always, okay? It's like saying 0 times any number equals 0. We know that when we multiply with 0, it always equals 0. Here's the great thing about 0. It's the same thing when we divide. So any number divided by 0 is always going to equal 0. Doesn't really matter. You can put 1, 2, 10, 12, 15, 100, 6,000, 8 million. It all equals 0, okay? So we're going to try the number 4. 0 divided by 4 equals 0. Same thing as 0 times 4 equals 0. Now here's what you need to know about setting up this equation. You'll see that my 0 went first, and then it was the number 4. Now why is that, Mrs. Santos? You always told us that the largest number goes first. This is why this rule is so special. When we divide by 0, the 0 is always written first. We can never, ever, 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 ever write 4 divided by 0. Never. Cannot do. That's because it's like saying this. I have no bowl. Remember my bowl of Cadbury eggs? My little bowl? I have no bowl, but I have 4 eggs. How can I have eggs if I don't have a bowl to put them in, right? So that's what that means. Or it's like saying, I have a fish bowl, like a fish tank, with 4 fish inside of it. Or actually, there is no fish tank and there are 4 fish inside. You can't have something like a fish tank and not have fish inside. There we go. There's my bowl. If this never existed, I can't have anything inside of it. So that's why we cannot write it as 4 divided by 0. It is the other way around. It's like saying I have, let's see. It's like saying I have 0, I have 4 bowls, 4 of these, and nothing inside of it, right? So if there's nothing inside of it, you get nothing. That's basically what that equation means, okay? So let's do some practice. I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to write the number 0 again. So 0 divided by any number is always going to equal 0. Let's see. Lily, you want to give me another number?
Okay.
Give me one.
Maybe let's do 10.
10. You got it. 0 divided by 10 equals? You got it. 0. I'm going to erase this now. And Ryan is going to give me a number. Ryan, what number should I use this time?
1,000.
1,000, he says. That sounds like a Ryan number to choose. 0 divided by 1,000. It's like saying I have 1,000 bowls with no eggs inside. So that means my answer is 0. No one gets any, right? 0. Okay, let's do one more. I'm going to choose 12. Now I'll give you a moment. I know it's only going to take you a moment because 0 divided by 12 is going to equal, you guessed it. Let's see, Lily, what's it going to equal? 0 divided by 12 equals?
0.
0. You're absolutely nothing. It is absolutely nothing. All right, you guys. Easy as pie, right? Told you. Okay, so that's the rule of 0 and 1. And in case you're wondering, boys and girls, I do have all of your division lessons from the past. You'll see that I've deleted all the past posts on our Google Classroom, and you might be saying to yourself, but where are those division lessons, Mrs. Santos? Well, I'll be happy to let you know that I still have them, and they're up on my YouTube channel. Boys and girls, I have a YouTube channel. Now, with this post and this video, I have included the Google slideshow that says important information. Remember that one? It's like a blue one. If you look through that slide, you're going to find the link to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. I mean, you don't have to, but subscribe to it. That way it's easier for you. And that way you can see all my division lessons. And I'm going to be loading more math lessons, more language arts lessons, as well as science lessons on my YouTube channel, so that way you have some place to always go to in case I delete the posts, okay? So that's kind of our little place that we can go to find these lessons. But I'm going to leave this lesson on for the week, and then next week I'm going to take it off, okay? All right, moving on to how the bat got wings. Here we go. A long time ago, the bat was a tiny mammal. It had no wings. One day, the mammals and birds decided to play a game. The birds played on one team, and the mammals played on the other team. I'm right here, and I'm going into paragraph 2. The bat wanted to play with the mammals, but the mammals laughed at her size. You are too small. So the bat asked to play with the birds. The birds said, you don't have wings, but we can make you some out of a drum. The birds stretched the skin of a drum into wings. The birds put the wings on the bat and said, flap your wings. The bat jumped off a tree and flapped her wings, but she didn't fly in a straight line like the birds. Instead, she flew every which way in a crazy zigzag pattern. The birds let the bat play on their team. Just as she had done before, the bat flew in a crazy zigzag pattern. The mammals on the other team could not catch the bat. the bat scored the winning points for the birds. I bet those mammals are rethinking that that bat joining their team, huh? When the game was over, the mammal said, "Who is that superstar on your team?" The birds said, "It is the bat. We gave her wings." The mammals did not know what to say. After all, they had refused to let the tiny bat play on their team. The mammals had learned their lesson. From that day on, they let any animal of any size play on their team. So now that I've read how the bat got wings, let's take a look at some of the questions on the back. Now right here on number 1, it says, think. Number the items to show the order of some events in the story. So we're putting this in order. What happened first, next, last. And you're just going to write the numbers 1, 2, and 3 next to the sentence that comes first, second, or third. The top sentence here says, the bat flies in a crazy zigzag pattern. Did that happen first, second, or third? The birds make wings for the bat. The mammals do not let the bat play on their team. Did that happen first, second, or third? Number 2, why do the birds win the game? Is it because A, the mammals cannot follow the bat's movements? B, the mammals are surprised to see the bat on the team? C, the mammals refuse to play against a bat? Or D, the birds fly in a crazy zigzag pattern? So why do the birds win the game? Circle the correct answer. Number 3 is a talking one. So you need a partner for this. And if you don't have a partner at home to tell this to, then you don't have to do this, boys and girls. It's a talking one, it's not a writing one, so you can talk to whoever's in your house about this. If you don't have somebody, don't worry about it. But if you do, here's what you're going to do. Using key details from the text, talk to your partner or someone in your house about how the bat's way of flying helps the birds win. How did that happen? And finally, for number 4, short response. That's where you're going to do this one right over here. In your own words, recount what happens when the bat plays the game with the birds. Be sure to include the most important details from the story. Use the space provided on page 113 to write your answer. Now, when it tells you to recount, it just means to tell the story from beginning to end. We have done something like this, boys and girls, where we did somebody wanted but so then. It's sort of the same thing, okay? So you're going to write it right over here. Who was in the story? What did they want to do? But what was the problem? So how did they fix it? And then how did it end? Okay? All right, boys and girls, that's the lessons for today. We had done a little bit more than 30 minutes today, but I think you did wonderful. Thank you so much for listening and watching the whole lesson. I will see you all during our Zoom meeting. Bye, guys.